don't know why I never thought about it, but yeah, just break somebody's wand. Why don't we do that?
Yeah.
Tom is very dense, denser than Mash, and he's
Yeah.
just like, You got it, bro.
Bamboo,
We can do this."
bamboo,
Yeah.
bamboo. Gotta shoot it out of the ground like bamboo. I've met people like that. Don't tell me I haven't.
Hi, hello, this is Jules the Human here, and welcome to the Jules the Anime Hour. I'm one of your hosts, Jules the Human, and every week we go out into the world and watch a little bit of anime, and then we come back here and talk about it. And today is the first time we're talking about Mashle, Magic, and Muscles. We picked this one out because we had an issue with summertime rendering. It is not widely distributed on Crunchyroll or Netflix, so we thought it would be better to just pick one that was on one of the bigger streaming sites. Because I don't have Hulu, so I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. But we have a ton of other anime that we can pick from in the future. This is your first time joining. We pick an anime that is suggested by either me or Matt or somebody from the community with a $5 super chat on YouTube or 500 bits on Twitch. And we watch it for a couple of weeks and then give our thoughts on it. Here are some anime that we've already reviewed this season. We've done so many. We got some S's, some A's, and we're filling out the middle there with some anime that we saw with, you see all the main characters there. But I do not go on this journey alone. I go with my co-host Matt Galley. Matt, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing so good. I'm ready to talk about some totally not Harry Potter meets One Punch Man. If we want to get that elephant in the room out of the way.
What do you mean? I did not
What do
connect
I
those at all.
mean? Man. No, I'm doing really good. I bring that up like so right off the bat because I did just recently introduce the Harry Potter films to my partner who hasn't seen them before, and we just finished watching the Chamber of Secrets earlier this week. So it's just like it's fresh on the mind.
There's a lot of magic happening in that house.
There's a lot of magic. So that's just definitely fresh on the mind, but it also makes it like, kind of interesting that this got drawn at the same time that we happen to be watching through those.
Definitely. And as a big Magic Boy fan, this one is very interesting to get to. And also recently a big muscly boy now trying to be is very cool seeing this new main character Mash go through it and go on his little adventures. But
He's just pumping iron.
He's pumping, bro. I am trying to get like Mash. But let's get into Mashle, Magic and Muscles, episode 1, Mash Burn Dead and the Body of the Gods. What happens in episode 1?
The magical realm is a place where people use magic. Mash Burn Dead lives peacefully in the forest, away from civilization, pumping iron under the watchful eye of his grandfather because Mash cannot use magic, making him an outcast. Regrow, Mash's grandfather, forbids him from going into the city, but he does anyways, getting into trouble with the magic police. Regrow swiftly grabs Mash and brings him home, but Brad Coleman already has their trail and tracks them down. Threatening Regrow to reveal Mash's location, Mash uses his muscles to take on the police and defeat them. Brad poses a deal which Mash has to accept for the sake of his grandfather, and it is to become a divine visionary at Easton Magic Academy. Can Mash make it at this prestigious magic school using only his muscles?
Oh man. Hello everybody watching in live chat. Hello Claire. Does Jules even lift? X to doubt. I lifted 2 whole chicken nuggies in my mouth earlier. Thank you very much. Not as much as Mash though. So we're introduced to the magical realm. As you're saying, everyone can use magic. Your social status is determined by your use of magic. And in this episode, we get our first look of the intro. And I gotta say, pretty snazzy intro for a show. Very dope song. It's showing the characters in a lot of little funny things. There's a lot of cream puffs. It's very cream puff centric in this, and we kind of figured that out very early on. Cream puffs connection.
If it wasn't for Mash's love for cream puffs, this story, it doesn't happen.
And that's very true. So cream puffs are actually ideal to the story and quintessential to the story. What's that? Is that thunder? Okay.
There's a plane landing.
Oh, there's a plane. You got an airport over there.
I'm gonna go ahead and close my window. Sorry.
Okay. So the intro is very cool. and we get the introduction to Regrow Burn Dead, who is 75. He lives with his son in the forest, and Mash is just hecka strong. For some reason, this boy is for I don't know if I okay, blanket statement, I guess. Nothing in this anime has to make sense, but like I'm just trying to make it kind of make sense a little bit. He made him uh lift a bunch of weights and like try and be like useful for society or just to give him something to do.
To have self-defensive capabilities. That's what he says at one point. He's like, I made him lift to teach him self-defense, but I never thought it'd get like this.
Yeah, because if you watch the show, their magic can get pretty superfluous, and it is running their entire world, sort of like a Harry Potter esque sort of thing. And Mash has been training for years in self defense, but we find out that it's just insane amount of load that he can get done with his entire workout set with tons of weight in about 5 minutes if he really wanted to. So we already off the bat, insane. Mash is strong, but also kind of dumb. So we get like
But he's
instant.
very straightforward, and he's very like his grandfather finds himself and like, how can I be mad at this kid? He's just so good. Like he's just so
Sure.
kind-hearted. That's what he like kind of
Kind
drives
heart.
home on. He's a very kind-hearted person. Even though
Sure.
he is a little he even says it at one point. He's like, this guy's denser than I am.
Yeah,
I'm
he
pretty
knows.
dense. Yeah.
He's self-identifying dense person, and he knows and he understands his shortcomings, I guess. And most likely that could also be with him not talking to anybody his whole life, pretty much. Like
Yeah.
his social awkwardness and the way that he's super just straight faced the entire time. It's like, yeah, you've been living in the woods with your dad, who's
Pumping
not your dad,
iron.
pumping iron. Like, bro, hell yeah. I mean, so how do you feel about in this first episode, Mash as a main character? Take out the story aside, him as a main character in this first
I mean,
episode, how does it set him up?
I think it sets him up well in the context that this is supposed to be a comedic anime.
Sure.
This is something that we're there's jokes being set up at every turn, whether it's with the dialogue or whether it's with visuals or a combination of both. There's always a visual gag, a dialogue gag, or a combination of both going on in this show, and that is
Mm-hmm.
something that like I kind of forgot going because I have seen it before. I forgot to mention that. I have seen Mashle before, so this is going to be a rewatch for me. And I wasn't as excited for a rewatch of a comedy anime because it's like, I don't find myself thinking that the same jokes are going to land that I've already
Sure.
seen. But
Mm-hmm.
because of the pace of the show, I am. Like before I'm even realizing that a show that it's like setting itself up for a joke, the joke's hitting, and I'm still laughing and chuckling, even though I remember immediately right after I'm like, you've seen that joke before, you've heard this joke before, but it's still funny. It like manages to set it up very well with like the fact that Mash has this like stone faced, like dry, expressionless to everything that he does, where everybody else's response to everything that he's doing is like jaw agape, like in a good or a bad way. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my god, that's horrifying, or oh my god, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen, is usually people's reaction to things that Mash is doing. So it's like it sets it up. It's the show is setting him up well as a punchline, in my opinion, for people to be reactive to him being this like fish out of water totally situation that we get to see him in.
Definitely. And I think I would like it a lot less. After the first episode, I was like, okay, this is our main character. We've had a ton of main boys that do the thing that you have to follow along with the story with, and you're supposed to empathize or be on his side or see the good in him. And I was a little apprehensive with Mash, I gotta say, after this first episode. I'm like, okay, he's the like you're saying, the uh I don't know if it's stoic, but like just straight
Kind of
mouth,
stoic, yeah.
a little stoic, especially in the last scenes, really. But a little dumb, a little silly. It's really comedic. And I was like, how far can they take that with him on his own? But then immediately in the next couple episodes that we're going to talk about, he meets a lot of cool friends that kind of react to him, like you're saying, react to the things that Mash is doing, and gives us that comedic relief while also providing a really cool character to dive into in the future.
Exactly. A really cool character that that you can have depth with if you're able to take him to that degree, and also just kind of like uh, um man, there's something else I was going to add to from before, but my brain's losing it, so I'll
Okay.
bring it up if it comes back.
So he's not allowed in the city. He can't use magic. He's one in like 2% of people that don't are not able to do magic. And they talk about the divine visionary, who is the highest degree of excellence. And while he's in the city, everyone's alerted that he has no mark. He ripped off the policeman's shirt. The magic police show up, and if someone can't use magic, they die. We find out that they're
They're
trying to keep
executed.
magic as their prominent force in the world, and if you are born without any magic, you die. And
No
you
real world
you
parallel there.
no, not at all. No seg. Never mind. You know the word. Um, and if someone, someone can't use magic, they die. Regro, the father who we saw earlier, was a failure at magic, and Regro found Mash. So we get a lot of very
Yes,
quickly in episode 1. We get a lot of just showing of their relationship, and very quickly, like, okay, here are the stakes,
yeah.
here's where we're at. We get a flashback with his dad and all that, where they
And
found
that's what I was going to go back and say, is that with the whole idea with Mash's character, I really like how the kind of like inciting incident, or like the reason that he has to go and do something that's taking him out of this comfort zone, is because of is for the sake of somebody else in reality. And that's something that, like, even if you're not on his side because you think he's like not interesting as a character for his character traits that we've seen so far, more his personality traits, you
his
can't deny the
personality.
fact of his character trait of caring about other people is endearing, and does kind of draw you in to root for him to do well at school, because you want to see, you know, again, like his grandfather did these things for him because he wanted to care for him. Nobody cared for the grandfather. It's like, it's cyclical there.
I have someone to look after, somebody that relies on
That
me for one.
relies on me for the first time in forever.
Whether
And
that's good
now,
or
like,
bad.
and now the shoe's like on the other foot type situation, where it's like he's been looking out for Mash forever, so now it's Mash's time to kind of take over and let him be the one looking out for his grandfather. So I think that's a really good like play on it. Again, I paralleled it to Harry Potter very early on, because there's a lot of magic and there's a lot of like, oh, it's poking fun at that or this, but like at its core, it is telling its own story, and I do really like that for it.
What do you mean? Duello is its own game. Duello does not pick up anything from any other game ever. Bubsy, can I replace summertime rendering on the list? Is it wrong to pick up girls in the dungeons? It's not in Crunchyroll. Well, actually, is it
Can you
wrong
do
to pick up
double?
girls in the dungeon? Is already in there. Sorry
You
about
want to
that.
double
That's
dip on
2
that?
for 2. keep asking though. Yes, because definitely. Sorry about that last time.
You can
Also,
replace it.
shout out to, yes, you can replace it, just something else. Also shout out to Bubsy and Shelves for tying the knot this week. And I'm so Love Is Blind coded that I gotta ask, did
First time
Shelves?
watching the Jules and Matt anime hours, a married couple. How do you guys feel?
Whoa. I gotta ask, did y'all say yes at the altar, or I gotta see the reunion real quick. Regro found Mash. Mash attacks Brad. It's Mash versus Brad, and Mash just, I found this really funny. Okay, they build it up. Brad is this epic duelist.
He drove
magician,
away the grand dragon
and I was like,
that threatened the realm.
yeah, with
And
this
he's gonna use
spell.
the same spell that he used on that dragon on Mash. I poked myself in the eye.
I was dying, bro. When it's just like, psh, and then they do the what happened? Oh, I saw it. He just smacked it away. And I'm like, hell yeah. If this
What?
is what we're doing, I love it. I'm okay with that. because in this world, magic is the thing. So why would anybody do muscles? Why would anybody do anything? I would just be playing with magic the whole time. Oh my god. It feels great. We checked. Love is truly blind. I said love is definitely blind. Congrats, congrats, congrats. Brad, so he's just demolishing Brad. My thing was, okay, Brad tells him, you have to enroll in the magic school to become the divine visionary for me, and I'll train you and I'll help you, and you have to do it, so I'll stop chasing your family down. Mash, just kill Brad.
Well, it's like if he kills Brad, they're just going to send somebody else. That's like, that was his reasoning. Like, you can kill me, but like your grandfather is going to be on the run forever.
But
So
nobody else
is that what you want
knows.
for him?
Kill the 3 guys that are in your house right now. Nobody knows about this incident.
I don't know. There's like, all the people that saw him at the city and stuff. Like word would spread. I think
So then
maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually somebody's gonna come after you, Mister. You know.
I have so much logic, but I'm just like, never mind. This show does not need logic. It's fine. Well, then wouldn't they get him in the school because they know he was the one that has no magic? If you're like you're saying the whole town saw he's in the magic school with non-magic, wouldn't everybody just be like, hey, that's the guy?
Not because he has the line on his face.
Episode 2, Mash Bernadette and the Mysterious Maze. What happens in episode 2? That line just changes everything.
Claude introduces himself as the proctor for the entrance exams. However, he is left dismayed by how easily Mash is able to accomplish every task, clearly not using magic to do so. He initiates a labyrinth test for the next part of the exam, and Mash is approached by Lemon, who requests help in getting out. Lemon slows Mash down to an extreme degree, and Mash even comes back to save Lemon after she betrays him. Lemon reveals the exam proctor put her up to it, and after everyone turned on Mash for breaking his own way out of the maze. Mash snaps the wand of Claude before the headmaster would make his appearance, quickly whisking Mash away to another test. Mash seems to impress the headmaster and is admitted into the academy. We also meet Finn, who is Mash's roommate, to his own dismay.
Thank you for telling me this girl's name was Lemon. And I also got to ask a question. Are you watching it in subbed or dubbed?
I watched it in subbed when I watched it the first time with my roommate, but rewatching it, I'm watching it in dubbed.
We are watching it in dubbed, and I'm fine with the voice actors. The voice actors are pretty funny, so I'm like,
pretty good. Yeah.
Let's go. But
I'll get to my only complaint.
Okay,
with voice acting.
But when I'm listening to it in English, they don't say her name. They don't say her name at all, and it's just markings on the screen, but it's not subtitled. So I was like, I have no clue who this girl is, who this girl's name. But I'm like, that's the girl. That's the one girl that they have.
They didn't say the headmaster's name. His name's Wahlberg.
They did. They said Wahlberg. I got that one. But her, out of everybody that we meet later on, I was actively fishing for names because they just don't say names, and they never said her name. Lemon Irvine. Yeah, I did not know her name, so I gotta remember that. So he gets into the magic school, and it's Easton, less than 3% past the test. We meet Cloud Lucci, and I'm cool with these like little tests. Does it make sense that he did what you write, intimidation nat 20 on the piece of paper? It doesn't make sense. No, it's fine. It's not supposed to make sense. No, it's okay with the show. Yeah, it's funny. The maze thing, very funny. I immediately was like, how is he going to get out of this? But I knew something like that would happen, where he just busts through everything. Lemon was recruited by Cloud to stop him because Lucci sucks. Mash punches his way out. Like I said, the other students don't want him there, and Lemon kind of has a crush for Mash, and
he said he was gonna marry me.
I heard that. I did hear that. Yep. Brother, this is so funny. Cloud is just like, I have the most spell power ever, and I'm gonna break you down, bro. And I don't know why this was the funniest moment for me, is when he just
Because
breaks
his
his
face, he's just
wand.
like,
Yeah.
eh.
I don't know why I never thought about it, but yeah, just break somebody's wand. Why don't we do that?
Yeah.
Why don't we just do that
Or even
more?
yeah, when in the first episode when he was holding the wand against Brad, and then he just threw it at him, and it shattered Brad's like
And
abjuration shield spell and cut him on the cheek.
he threw the wand. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, you can just do that." I don't know why in my brain, it's just like, you're supposed to use it because the spell is the most powerful, but he's like, "No, I don't know, it's a stick. I'm gonna
My
throw it really
stat be
hard."
diff, bro.
Yeah, and it's just so funny. I like these little things, because I just didn't think
It's
about it that
it's
way.
it does a good job at like, yeah, again, setting up for the payoff of the, he uses his muscles because that's the running joke, the joke at its core is, oh, he uses his muscles. Oh, he uses his muscles. Oh, he
Yeah.
uses his muscles. But it's like how can we tell that joke in different environments with different characters under different context?
So
And
that
the show does a good way of like, pulling out all of the genre staples and then just having Mash be like, nah, my muscles. And it just
Claire
nullifies
says
it.
Claire says you need to watch more kung fu movies. They use chopsticks as throwing weapons all the time. I have not seen
Bro,
that,
Kung Fu
and
Hustle, they use so many different things as
that's
weapons.
true. Yeah.
They use
Uh
like shower rings and stuff.
uh that definitely what you were saying, the same joke about him using muscles puts me in the same, like, sadness, not really sadness because of what we saw in Comey Can't Communicate, where that was the one joke. And I really don't want to get tired of this. I really like what they're doing. It's really silly, stupid, whatever. But I really hope I don't get tired of he's strong
Again,
because
I feel like the crux of Comey's case was that like her not being able to use her voice period just really left a lot out in characterizing her. But I feel like Mash, even we're only like 2 episodes in, I feel like he's pretty well fleshed out. Like he's getting
yeah.
pretty well fleshed out pretty consistently,
Mhm.
and a he doesn't feel like a vessel for the joke to be told. He feels like a character that's being used to tell a joke consistently.
Mhm.
If that makes any sense.
We meet Albus Wahlberg, my man here, and he's just flying. He's vibing. Wahlberg does like this insane spell that steals his dad's soul and puts it there to kind of test him a little bit, for his character a little, but
Mhm.
like it feels super dark. Like you can tell in the way that Wahlberg is talking. I feel like he's I don't know. Wait, how do I feel? Because I was gonna say he feels like he'll end up being the big bad, but like I don't super feel that way totally. I feel like he could be an ally to Mash.
Yeah,
So I'm
because
very
like I
curious.
feel like he probably saw the exams going on the whole time, and kind of has context for everything up to this point, and he's giving Mash that spell because like he asked him, he was like, "Did you even like consider for a moment that you might not have been able to break through the walls or defeat the Sphinx?" And he's like, "Well, I didn't think about it because what else is there to do? Then
Mhm.
do it." And so he's like, okay, so what happens when you see something like this? And he was just like, he just wanted him to answer the question. But then Mash goes, oh, an endurance
He
contest.
just
And he just dives right into it.
he just wanted him to answer the question, but he literally did take his dad's soul.
I
So
mean,
like
it was just the spell. I'm sure he was gonna stop it before it hit the thing. Like
that's what makes it
I
that's the
feel
dark
like
part because we literally see his dad be like, "Oh, just
but
go
it's like
down."
it's like it's played off in a way that doesn't feel dark, even though it looks like dark. And like
Yeah.
talking about it, it's kind of morbid, but it's like it shows him he's just standing there, and then all of a sudden he's just like, and he faints in the other guy's arm, and he's like, "Hey, Gramps!" He's like slapping
Yeah.
his
What are
cheeks.
you
"Hey,
doing?
come on, Gramps! Come on, wake up!" Even those two, the fact that they're there at these
Yeah.
like just in
Con
black morph suits, like just hiding
continuously
out.
them just, being like little buddies. I'm cool with that. Them just watching it, or later on when they're in the forest. I think it's in the next episode,
Yeah.
but they're just there with a fire. They're just hanging out somewhere on the grounds, and it's like, what the fuck? What are these guys doing? It's so silly.
It's a funny
Uh,
way, again, it's a funny way of making them like their own pair in a comedic sense, but also a way of like not having to trash characters that we already have introduced for the sake of the story moving to somewhere where like they wouldn't really be involved. Like, who cares? They're hanging out, they're just there. Like we're just gonna
it's
use them to tell
yeah,
silly jokes now.
it's funny. I dig it, but I do feel some sort of darkness the way Wahlberg was talking,
That's
and
fair.
I'm curious.
He's definitely like foreshadowing that like, hey, I'm testing you on this because there are people out there that would be the antithesis to what I am saying is ideal, which is you.
Mhm.
Somebody who would look out for other people.
And then we go into just normal classes. First class, they're doing some lock opening. He just crazy
He uses
strong,
his
just
muscles.
breaks the lock. And then we meet Finn Ames, who is his roommate. We met in first episode. We talked about Rain Ames, who is the most recent divine visionary.
Did he get brought up?
He in the first episode, I wrote it down. And I was like, Ames.
Is it the cop that brings him up, or
I don't know. I just wrote divine visionary, comma, Rain Ames highest degree of excellence.
okay.
So I don't know what that meant. And then until I got to rewatch the episode, I forgot where they mentioned it. But in
Uh,
episode one, they mentioned Rain Ames, and then now Finn. And I'm like, are they brothers? Who is this other person? But we meet Finn.
it's definitely not a mistake.
Okay.
They have the same last name.
Okay. Well, yeah, obviously. Um, they give some information about how to become the divine visionary. You have to collect gold coins, but then there's gold coins, silver coins, bronze coins. You just got to do good, do well in the school,
Good.
and if you do well enough, you'll become the divine visionary.
Too
Maybe.
good, silly man.
Okay, we got our like goal, and I'm happy that we have like. It may seem like dumb to just be like, okay, here's how we do this. Here's what this is going to be. Or like even with the tests that they were given in this episode. But like, I like when it's defined. I like when they're like, here are the rules. This is what we're doing. And then later on, ooh, we're going to break the rules a little bit. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Or something like that. So I'm fine with them taking time to explain certain
Or even
things
when
in
yeah,
this
something
magical world.
happens that it's like, it's like, oh, the rules got interpreted a little differently. There was a bylaw, something, there's a
Mhm.
twist that's being put on it, and that's kind of like what can keep things interesting
But
in
I can
those
see,
longer form.
yeah, and I can see like people being like, they're explaining this other thing. Okay, now they got to explain the coins thing,
Mhm.
or rules, or rules
Exactly.
of the game in the
And
next
that's the thing where
episode. It's
like
like,
again, I can't help but liken back to another comedy anime that we've watched recently with which is Comey, where in Comey it felt like vignettes that didn't really chain into an overlapping story the best, but
mhm,
here it's like the jokes are also like a part of the narrative as the story is getting pushed forward.
mhm,
So it feels like they have more like substance, or not like the joke specifically, but just like what the direction of the show itself feels like it's
yeah,
going somewhere.
because episode,
Whereas in the first episode of Comey, like, we want to make all the friends, and then like that was the thing for a little bit, but it slowly kind of like teeters back and forth into like not knowing what it wants to do, chase the goal of make more friends or tell jokes with existing friends. But here it's like become divine visionary, here's how you do it, and before we're at the end of these episodes, he's making progress towards doing that.
mhm, because by episode 2, I'm already like, I'm on board. Like even by episode 1, even though we're taking logic leaps, I'm like, okay, it's funny. It's supposed to be a comedy. It doesn't have to always make sense or make the most sense, but it's enough to where I'm like, I'm on this road. I'm down to go with this guy, Mash. And episode 2, we're in the school, we're doing it, and we've already felt some risk, some reward, and we've also did get some cool shots of Mash doing some brutal stuff. And I'm like, oh, he punches the Sphinx. or whatever. And I'm like, that's
Yeah.
pretty dope. Fuck it. Okay. So I'm already on board, like with his journey and doing whatever. And this seems like a cool playground to play in right now. And again, I really hope by the episode 12 or whatever, I really hope we don't like, or I don't get okay, like this is done. Like I'm over it or something. But as of right now, with these first 4 episodes and the first two, I'm like, I'm here for it. Let's keep going. Episode 3, Mashle, Bernadette, and the Baleful Bully. What happens in episode 3?
Mash is challenged to a race during broom flying class and makes quick work of his competition. Finn recaps the insane way Mash was able to pull this off, but this also leads him to getting the attention of Lloyd. Lloyd makes fun. I'm sorry. Who Mash makes fun of and quickly pisses off. Lloyd is the child of a member of the Bureau of Magic, making him intimidating to everyone as the vice principal is also in his pocket. Lloyd pranks Mash over and over until Mash finds Lloyd taking advantage of Finn, Finn apologizing to Mash for messing with his stuff under Lloyd's command. Mash slams Lloyd into the ground and threatens the vice principal, who happened to be seeing everything as well. The headmaster destroys the notice to expel Mash under the context that Mash is someone that looks out for the weak, and Wahlberg believes that's how it should be more often. Then explaining to Mash what it takes to become a divine visionary for his house. Mash is invited to play Duello by one of his Adler dorm mates, Tom.
Okay. There's a big thing that I want to oh man, it's so funny. I died in this episode too. It's just so outlandish. It's crazy. So broom riding here, we classic broom riding, of course, and he
Fly,
just throws
fly. He's it's literally that's a complete parallel to Harry Potter universe. Stand next to your broom, speak firmly, say fly, and he's just standing there and it's not responding. The guy's like, remedial classes for you or what?
yeah.
Stomps the ground, flies up
And
to fly.
it's so good. It's so silly. It's so dumb. And for him to move at the speed that he is, or everybody's like, "What happened?"
It's like a
They did the
speeding bullet.
explanation. They were like, "What happened? We didn't see it." And they're like, "Well, really what happened was he threw his broom and then jumped in the air too, and nobody
He
saw
jumped
it."
in the air and used his arms to kill his airspeed to slowly approach the broom, then grabbing it and flying on it.
Okay, fuck it. I'm on board. He's just super fast, I guess, too. Living in regular atmosphere when he's used to pumping 500 pounds or whatever, he can just move super fast because it's like, oh, this is easy. He's wearing like a weight vest the entire time, his entire life. We meet the blonde-haired Lloyd Cavill, and everyone's afraid of him because he's a bully. And we find out that Cavill's the son of a high-ranking official, like you're saying, of the Bureau of Magic. And apparently, Finn has been taking orders from Lloyd to mess with Mash's books. We found earlier that Mash was like, what's wrong with this book? What's wrong with this book?" And Finn was doing all this behind Mash's back. But like, do we forgive Finn? I think so,
I
because
think
Finn's
so.
just trying to live his life. He didn't even want, someone as eccentric, quote unquote, eccentric, not really, but like as somebody with as many eyes as Mash does, he didn't
Yeah.
even want to room with him. He's like, bro, I just want to go to school.
He's
I'm
like, I
just,
just want to go to school. I don't want to have to deal with the gossip. I don't want to have to deal with making splashes. I just want to go to school. And then he
yeah,
shows up with Mash as his roommate. And then he's got the known school bully in his ear telling him to do things to his roommate. So it's just like I feel bad for Finn. I feel bad
yeah,
for Finn. He's in a bad spot. And I think Mash knows that Finn. I think Mash has a great judge of character. He's
definitely.
able to kind of showcase, like, he knows whose wands he should snap and who he should roundhouse or flying knee in the face, and who he should be sticking up for and trying to protect. So
Which
again, it's
is
like we're only a few episodes in, but like I find myself very endeared towards Mash and the reasons that he's at the academy, and I want to see him make a huge splash in this super. Like again, it's like the more we laugh about it because it's like it's set in the context of a comedy, but the more you flesh out this world, it's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
Pretty fucked up.
How they just kill people with no magic? That's
That's
fucked
pretty
up.
messed up, man.
Yeah. And which was really funny now, because of what he does to Lloyd Cavill, because he's preparing to fight. We're gonna do this, but I'm the best duelist, whatever. I'm a son of a high-ranking member of the Bureau of Magic, and you can't touch me, and just instantly breaks his face. I died because I was like, oh my god, he can't do that.
Yeah,
I was like, wait,
he
wait, wait, wait,
can, but
wait.
he did.
I was like, no, no, no. This is supposed to be like your nemesis. Like me thinking, like, this is your nemesis for the show. I'm like, down for Lloyd to be the nemesis. They brought him up here, and I'm like, okay, cool. Now he's gonna have a equal level for Mash here, and boom, just breaks his face. And then I was already there. I was there, like
Yeah.
I was there when he smashed Lloyd's face in, right? The vice principal's there, and he's like, hey, whoa, 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 you can't be doing this because whatever, whatever. And I'm the vice principal. He just kicks the Mash. You can't do this times two. He is a teacher
Like
or
in the
whatever.
middle of him speaking the sentence that he is not allowed to do exactly what he's doing, he does the thing that he just did to the
To the
Lloyd, to the
vice
vice
principal.
principal. And
I
you're just
was like,
again, yeah,
I was like, no, wait, that was truly something unexpected that I was just like,
I agree.
one, Lloyd, I'm like, okay, what? I was like, oh shit, that's crazy. The principal, and I was like, oh
And then the fact that
no.
like then the principal is like, on the ground, like, I'm gonna have you expelled. Like, you can't do
Yeah.
that. And then Mash looks at him, buries him.
Throw me in
He's like,
prison or
what are
cut
you
my body
doing? And he's like,
into.
I'm burying you. He's like, you can't bury me. What do you? And he's like, you can you can expel me. You can send me to a different country. You can do whatever you want to do. I will bury you. And
And then
there's
he's like,
nothing you can do about it.
yeah.
And
And then
that's the point that he's making.
he's like, oh wait, I fucked up. Hold on. He's like, wait a minute, I probably shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, because in the back of your head, in the back of his head, it's kind of like, there like he even says, like, everybody's been saying there's this like there's this class system, there's a caste system, and the people that are higher in this caste system you have to respond to. But in my world, and I assume most people's world, at the very top of the caste system is you listen to whoever can take your life at their own whim.
Sure.
I'm
Definitely.
just saying,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
in that moment,
Yeah.
at least you are listening to whatever that kid says. And it's why it has to be the Ministry of Magic that gets did I say Ministry of Magic? The Bureau of Magic.
It's very different, Matt. Very different.
Very
than the
different.
Ministry of Magic, please.
Has to send the headmaster Wahlberg a notice of expulsion for Mash's behavior.
Yeah. But he's fine. It's fine.
But he burns it up.
Wahlberg's very Dumbledore as he's like, yeah, that's fine. He did it for the right reasons.
As long as you break rules for the right reasons.
Yes, we do find out that the divine visionaries are at the bureau. So once you come divine visionaries from the school, you go into the Bureau of Magic and you have a job doing stuff or whatever you'd like to do to help out the magic society that they've made. And apparently Mash gets very popular from what happened because he just punched out Lloyd, who's the bully for everybody. And we meet Lord Tom, who wants him to play Duello. And you also get introduction of the houses, which is really funny. There's only 3 houses, though. Very different. Very different.
Very
3
different.
houses. And there's
totally
a whale.
Not Gryffindor, totally not like Slytherin, and totally not Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff combined.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. There's a whale there. What are you talking about?
It's a whale. They're orcas, bro.
Orcas. And he wants them to play Duello, which is a Quidditch like game. Very different.
Just a game where they ride on brooms and throw a ball through hoops, bro. Come on.
Yes, and it is Adlerdorn versus
like basketball
Langdorn.
on brooms, if anything.
More like basketball on brooms, definitely. With all the nonsense out of there. And then we get to episode 4, Mash, Bernadette, and the challenging magic user. What happens in episode 4?
Tom tries to psych up Mash for the duello match, but finds himself attacked by the other team while his back is turned. Mash quickly takes to the air and is able to float just by kicking his feet. He puts an insane curve on a ball and he scores 999 points for his team in haste, and then becoming the talk of the school. We have Lance, a multi-marked magic user who takes Mash's friends and challenges him to a duel over their silver coins. Mash discovers Lance's sister complex, and we see a flashback showing Lance's parents abandoning his sister as after she receives a rare condition that takes her magic away. Lance concedes defeat to Mash after he says words that seem to match something that Lance's sister once said to him, and Mash saves all of his friends, frees them, regrettably not before he got back to school.
The duello game. We got Lord Tom getting taken out. I was hyped for this. Game. I'm like, cool. We got no snitch. We got nothing. Just put them through the hoop. Here we go. He is popular, but do I have to keep calling him Lord Tom? Is his name Lord Tom, or is it
I
just
just call him Tom.
Okay, but they introduced him as Lord Tom.
Me.
Whatever. I'll just call him Tom. Tom is very dense, denser than Mash, and he's just like, you got it, bro. We can do this.
Bamboo. Gotta shoot out of the ground like bamboo. I've met people like that. Don't tell me I haven't.
So he's there on the ground, and everybody's just like, what the fuck? But he ends up flying, bro. And he's just kicking around, floating, but that takes more magic, but his legs are moving super fast and no one can see it.
Everybody's like, he sure is kicking his feet a lot. I don't know about that.
It's super silly. It's just pushing the edges of what I can believe in, but I'm okay because it's MASH and it's silly. What also pushes the edges is the way that he can curve the ball enough to throw the ball like a boomerang. And he just throws, catch, 999 times to get 999 points. The most amount of points ever done in a duello game, which is insane. Adler Dorm wins. The crowd goes wild. And we meet the character Lance Crown, who says something very interesting when we see him first, that he says MASH will be the next one. And I don't know what that means still, I don't think. But he says that when, looking at MASH. And we find out he has two marks. So
multi-mark magic user.
I like how they're just sprinkling it in there. Episode 4, we're still learning stuff about the world.
Yeah,
because
I like again, it's like it does exactly what you're talking about, where it's just here's new rules, here's new exceptions to the rules and stuff like that.
Yeah, like we know the marks from the episode when he's trying to get into school. He has to put on a mark to blend in. But we meet our first multi-mark person. It's like, okay, well, the marks, right? Well, here's what it is, and here's how people have multiple marks, where it's a very small percentage, but they have better usage of magic or can use more powerful magic. And I'm like, okay, I'm down. That's easy to remember, and that's easy to digest because they keep just giving us little bits over these next couple episodes. He has he bottles up Mash's friends. Lance has two silver coins, and they duel over his friends. Lance uses magic and smashes Mash. Lance has a sister complex, which is very weird and very funny. But we figure out what that means.
It's funny on revealing when he's like, he acts like, and then Mash's response to it is, that's not better.
Yeah.
Than a Lolita complex.
Yeah, because
that makes me laugh.
He's like, he grabs the class with his pictures, like, oh my god, do I have to report you? What's this about?
And I was like, police, you're a criminal.
Yeah. It's funny. There's little moments like that where I'm like, I'm okay with MASH being dumb and silly. But I do gotta say, when what you were saying earlier, like, it's more of his personality traits that I don't super like as a main character, but his heart's in the right place, and I'm okay with following him in his journey. So overall, I'm okay with MASH being a main character. It's just some of the the quietness and the
More expressive, more
deadpanness.
expressiveness.
Yeah, where
Mhm.
normally I would want a main character that's a little more over the top. But it's like
But
little
like
moments
like
like this, which are
at
good.
the by the credits of the 4th episode, when you see him surrounded by his friends that are all upset, "Thank you, Mash, you saved us, oh my I love you, Mash." Oh, it's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, there's a lot of energy around him anyways."
This is a really,
So,
yeah,
he
this is a really
bounces
funny
off of
shot.
everybody really well, in my opinion.
Definitely, and I really like the shot because they were just super poorly drawn, but it's so silly. They're just like little characters. I'm like, okay, whatever, fuck it. Lance loves his sister. We get a flashback of Lance and his sister Anna, who is has a disease that takes her mark in magic. So now we know as well there's something in this world where
Your
you
magic
your
can be
magic can go
taken.
away, and whether it's something man-made or something that's just in their world, we don't know yet, but it has happened to his sister. And because she has no magic and no mark, oops, gotta kill her. So it's like, shouldn't we be challenging these
We just
ideals
gotta
here?
we're not killing her, we're turning her over to the Bureau of Magic. That's all that's happening. Whatever happens there is what happens there.
Yeah, we don't, she's not our daughter anymore. It's
Nope.
like, what?
Then yeah, even the mom, she was like, "Why did I have to give birth to something like that?" It's just like
Insane, bro. Yeah, it's definitely something that I'm like, it's building here and they're doing it subconsciously, and I'm like, okay, I'm cool, and I really hope they do address it. Probably not in the first 12 or whatever episodes we're gonna watch, but I'm glad that there's that underlying thing where, hey, this magical world kind of sucks a little bit and nobody's really challenging it. And now that we have this muscle boy that doesn't use magic at all,
he
and now we're
challenges every rule that this world stands for.
definitely, and it's so cool. And I'm like down for that ultimately to for him to
Culminate in something bigger, larger than life.
bring down the bureau.
Yeah, even
Definitely.
like the whole idea of them saying like, oh, the multi magic users, people call them like the chosen of like the chosen by magic itself, chosen by the gods or something like that. And it's
Mhm.
just like it again, yeah, just sets these really high precedents, these really high, stakes in what would be super high stakes in any other show, and then it just has Mash come along and be like, no, his muscles.
His muscles, though. Lance wants to be the divine visionary to save his sister. So now we have motivation for Lance, and I'm okay with Lance being there. I'm cool with him joining the crew. I'm down for this character. Mash uses hamstring magic for the first time. He uses his big bang dash. And like for what I gotta say, this was made like within the year or something, right?
Season 2 came out earlier winter this year, and then I
Mhm.
think this season 1 aired 2022 or 3.
Gotcha. So what I gotta say is that it looks good. The colors and everything look great. And overall, it's nicely animated, but when Mash goes into, all right, you want some of this mode, it like just intensifies for me, like especially in the first episode where he like was gonna battle Brad a little bit. But in this episode, when he's getting ready to dash, he Lance is like, oh, when did he change? And then he gets like
Yeah.
the grip on the floor with his foot, and then he's ready to dash. I'm just like, ooh, that I
Yeah,
don't know what it is with the
it's very
animation.
you can like feel everything, all the movements in those scenes for sure, or yeah, you feel the intensity for sure.
It just pumps up an extra level, and I
And
really
then
like that.
the music paired with it, where you get that do do do, like the build
Mhm.
up and stuff. It's just yeah, it's really good. It's really good.
I am living for 2 things where Mash does something super unexpected to kill the person's magic before it's even let out, and also those moments where he gets intense Mash. He goes Mashal, and it's just like, yes, he's doing it, and it's so good. Even without magic, even without the crazy spells or anything, it keeps me engaged with the main character that can't do any of that stuff.
The
Um,
the one thing I was gonna say, my one complaint, subbed versus dubbed, I guess,
okay.
Lance, when he cast Graviole in
Uh-huh.
the dub, he is way too excited about it. In the sub, it casts every Graviole so nonchalant. good have you. Good have you.
Mm,
It's just
okay.
very nonchalant, very like I'm not even gonna expend the air to cast my spell wasted on you. But in like
Mm.
Lance in the dub, he
Stuff.
just seemed way too excited and into casting the spell. Um, that's just me though.
Okay. I mean, I haven't seen the other side to compare it.
No, yeah, that
That's
was
how I.
just the one thing I was gonna bring up because I did notice that right away. I was like, that's not Lance.
Oh,
This
okay.
guy's not cool enough to be Lance.
Okay,
Not
I can see that.
nonchalant enough.
Because I do want him to be cool. Like he
Yeah,
has the one earring. He just looks like a badass in like very cool, subdued, mysterious character.
I think his
Especially with
voice
like
acting lends more to that in the sub for sure.
okay, very cool. Um Mash saves everyone. Turns out Lance, pretty cool guy. So maybe
Pretty
we'll
good
put him in
guy.
the crew.
He
So
at least didn't try to kill my friends for real, for real.
yeah, he just
He
wanted
was just pretending
coins.
like he was killing my friends.
He just wanted coins. He just wants to get the divine visionary because
Yeah.
he has another goal. And I'm okay with that goal
And
because
like Mash has already said, it's like when Lemon was the, caused
lemon.
him to fall behind and stuff, he was like, if your reasons were anywhere near as good as mine, I already understand why you did what you did.
Hmm.
I think he's at the same point with that with Lance, where he's like, no, you're a pretty cool guy. We don't need to fight, but like, I'm gonna fight you if I need to fight you. Like,
Yeah.
we can fight, but we don't need to. And he's like, I give up. You're I'm not even into this anymore because he said something that like his little sister once said about it. He's like,
He-
I'm too silly to take this or something. I don't remember.
Overall, the first 4 episodes, as somebody that hasn't watched it before, I'm down to keep going. I'm down to find Mash going through this world of magic and muscles. But yeah, pretty cool character. And I like the world, and I like these other characters that are surrounding him. And it seems like a fun time. It is comedy, not so much logic, and I'm super down to keep going with Mashle. So next week, what's up?
I was gonna say, I mean, I've already seen it, but what would be your like, I guess, number one guess or prediction about anything given with the plot, given with like Mash becoming the divine visionary?
Like to at by the end of us, or by the next 4 episodes? By the end of the
By the end of the 12 episodes, like where do you think Mash is going to be at? Where would you want if like these 12 episodes is like 1 year, like they have 1 year of school in this 12 episodes, like where would you want to see Mash by the end of this?
well, I do know that there's like 20 something episodes. It's not 12 episodes is not the full first episode, right?
I think that's true.
So there's like 20 something episodes season 1, season 2, I already know that. I want him to get a little challenged a little bit, which I always want for your main character to, because in some shows that we watched already, there's main characters that have just been swamping the floor with everybody, and it's like that's cool that this character is very powerful. Kind of like Bo Fury, where I kind of wanted some more pushback to her. Oh, I got these new powers, and they're so OP. Blah, whatever. And I kind of feel that with Mashle. Not saying that he's a bad character. It's just I don't want to get just desensitized to all the cool stuff that he does, because in order to make that still feel cool, I need something to counter that, and I want him to find, or at least for the show to define his counter, whether that be a magic person or some sort of magic thing, or you know what, I just thought of, what if there's somebody else there that is not a magic user, that is faking it as well. And then he's like, wait a minute, we're the same. That's what I'm calling. I just thought about it right now. And I'm going to say, what's his thing that would be his, that would stump him a little bit, either story wise or physically. And what if it
Fight
was
fire with
just
fire situation.
what if it was just another non-magic user that is doing the same thing for some reason? So I think that I'm
What
going
if
to
it
go with
was
that.
somebody that was just as strong as Mash physically,
Somebody physically
but could also use
muscly.
magic?
That too. I don't know, but I think that's what it'll be. I want them to define his equal on the other side and him get a challenge a little bit. While
Steaks.
it is
We need some
fun,
steaks.
yes, we need some steaks. Put some steaks on the grill
Put some
because
steaks on the grill.
right now it's all fun and games, and I would love
rare.
some more of that, but I want him to meet his match a little bit and get pushed to the edge.
Okay.
Matt, when we're not talking about Mashle, where can they find you on the internet?
If you want to follow me on my socials, you could follow me on Twitter, on Instagram at it's Matt_Galley. You can follow me on my YouTube at Matt_Galley, which is where I've streamed like once, and I might again in the near future. But right now we haven't been because we've been a busy boy. But yeah, follow me there, Jules. When we're not here, mashling and cream puffing, where can the people find you?
At Jules the Human, at JULES the Human on all social media. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel where this show is made. I don't stream on Twitch anymore, and I'm just getting like Mashle, just been working out, doing cool stuff. So I don't do a whole lot of content right now. But this show you can watch on Spotify. We've been getting a lot more people watching on Spotify. So if you want to take us on the road or take us in the gym, you can listen to this podcast. Just look up the Jules and Matt Anime Hour on there, and you'll see all the episodes we've done and take part in our polls that we put over there. But we also have an Anime Hour Pod YouTube channel where it's just the VOD. I edit them a little bit, and we're also going to be putting shorts on there as well, so you can go ahead and follow the Anime Hour Pod YouTube channel. It's linked in the description. You can click the little thing and you can find both me and Matt's YouTube channel in the description of this video right here. But watch episode 5 through 8. We'll do 4. I don't know if we should stop at 12 or 13, but we'll figure it out by next week. So episode 5 through 8 for next week. Watch Mashle, Magic and Muscles, episode 5 through 8 by next Wednesday, and we'll be here to talk about it. So hopefully you watch and we can talk about it together. So we'll see you next time.
Bye.